Welcome everyone to Super Flag Bros, and I was rushed in with perhaps the worst count-in ever given to a show. Of course, that count-in was done by the Eagle at Master Control, our tech wizard, and also notable wizard dresser, as he often goes in public dressed as a wizard.
Right.
You can follow him and tweet the show live at Eagle FPF. I am joined in studio with my partner in crime, Deez Delariz. You can follow him at Dave's Republic. Deez, how are you doing?
Not bad, man. I'm surrounded by cages. I love it.
Yeah, we're in our new home, of course, at the Sportira cage, as Mokan said, in downtown, eastern, central, northern, down under Anjou, Montreal. Of course, you can follow the league at Flag Plus. Remember to hashtag FPF. We will have a dirty prop bet at some point, and we'll be looking for your input. We are also produced at the moment by the slowest producer of all time, Slow Khan himself. Slow Khan doing what he can. He can't get my name right. He thinks my name is Puzzles. Of course, if I do have an animal at some point, perhaps a cockatiel.
This is going off the edge.
Absolutely, right away. I will call it Puzzles. But let's get into it. Let's bring the show back into the cage, since we're at the Sportira cage. Let's talk about some of the action we saw this week. But before that, I want to introduce who you are.
Right.
So
I want to introduce who you are.
yeah, go ahead. Who am I?
Who are you?
That's enough. Deez Delariz, of course, David Del Rocca. He is the Super Flag Bro. He's my brother in real life and in pretend life as well.
Yeah.
It also works as a pickup line to help Eagle pick up 3 Mexican transvestites.
So I've been playing in the league for quite some time.
Yeah, you're
I've been-
defensive player for the most part.
Yep.
Mostly
Played
because
for
you
about 5 or
can't
6
catch,
years. Yep. Nope.
but you defend quite well.
Yeah, thanks.
Good deflagger as well.
I'm,
You started.
I'm impeccable at getting injured every season.
Yeah, it's your old age catching up to you, of
Great,
course.
great stuff.
You started with myself in the team Punch Panda.
I think I've always played for your teams, except for maybe two or three seasons.
Yeah, for the most part, we've played together. Punch Panda was our first team. I bring that up because we will make reference to it.
A lot.
When one of your teams inevitably sucks,
Yeah.
we will make you feel better by saying, don't worry, we played for the worst team of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
That team was called.
Punch Panda.
There we go. Right now, where are you playing for?
Right now, I'm playing for Team Darksiders in Division B. Pretty great team. Probably going to win a championship or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6
7.
or 7.
Probably not.
And the thing is that it's interesting playing in a higher division. We've kind of seen we've gone through all of the stages and all the growing pains. We started off in Division E, Division 6, no, Division 5 actually. But when
Division
we
5.
came in-
There was no Division
yeah,
E
there
or
was no
6 at the
Division
time.
E or 6. And I think that what we always liked about it, and we always discuss what we like about Division E is that it's not only just a beginners league, but it's kind of like a league to kind of get you started. It's kind of like a progression. It shows you what's in store for this league, you know. And what's great about Division E is you can make a team with your friends and not have to worry or stress too much.
No, for sure. And I mean, what's interesting is when we started, it was Div 5, and it was Div 5, and it was in the springtime. We're Div D.
Yeah.
Now, starting in the springtime is difficult because a lot of the fluff teams don't register,
Right.
and which remains is the pure flag team. So
Yeah.
you have very competitive action. So for new teams, don't get discouraged. It's a great learning experience. But I don't want to spend too much time talking about that because we have 14 weeks ahead of us to talk
Amazing.
about new teams, old teams, and so on and so forth. But let's talk about some of the action from this week. Flight of the Conchords, one of the familiar faces taking on Smash Bros, which are a new configuration of familiar faces. Flight of the Conchords, FOTC, win at 45-32. Officially, it is the last time I call you Flight of the Conchords for the rest of the season. You will be FOTC.
I never knew that was actually what the.
But they had a bunch of different. Last season, they were fans of the Cougars and so on and so forth.
Right. Well, from what we saw, they seem like they're going to be a pretty strong team throughout the season. I mean,
Look, the trial is still out.
we still have to see what's in store. But from what we saw and what we heard, they look like they're pretty solid to start off. You know what the thing too is? It's an underrated fact is winning your first week in a league really goes a long way. You know, and I mean, I've played seasons where you lose, where your first game, winning it really gives you a lot of confidence going into it. You get an immediate chemistry boost.
Well, it's in Gilman, quarterback of FOTC, threw 5 touchdowns in that win. Are FOTC the front runner coming in your opinion?
Not really. I think we'll get into some of the other we'll get into some of the other teams in a second. But right now, at the moment, I'm trying to get used to this microphone.
Yeah, it's a different setup. For of course,
We should
as
call
we,
this show Growing Pains.
as we mentioned, this is our new home. We're having some equipment issues as well. Remember, we're at the Sportira cage, where if you need to get your jersey, Sportira is the official supplier of FPF uniforms. They do some wonderful stuff, including many jerseys designed by my fellow podcast host, Deez Delaries.
That's right.
So hit him up for some graphic work. Hit up Sportira for jersey work. Jersey work, of course, not to be confused with cleaning sidewalks in New Jersey.
I take tacos. I take
for
tacos
the
for
Smash
payment.
Bros, we saw Jonah Cohen. He's definitely learned a lot from his quarterback in higher divisions from the Game Changers.
Right.
He's played with Anton Sakis, a known quarterback in this division, in this league. Jonah Cohen throwing 4 touchdowns in his first game. He actually texted me saying, "Hey, Pease, you got to come check out my first game. I wish I could have been there. Unfortunately, I have a Latin girlfriend who will cut me if
Yes,
I'm not home
absolutely.
once in a while."
She texts me once in a while and says, I'm going to cut him if he's late.
Pretty much. But 4 TDs in the first game ever. What do you think? Is this just sort of like beginner's luck, or do you think Jonah
No,
got the
I don't.
chops?
I don't think it's beginner's luck. I think it's like what you said, where there's a level of experience that you get working and playing within different systems. Playing in higher divisions with great team game changers. Listen, I witnessed firsthand what it's like to charge into the playoffs against Game Changers. First round, got destroyed. I think 49-7.
Not
or
fun,
something.
right?
Not fun. But the main thing is, it's also a system that they have. It's a very effective system. And if Cohen's gonna apply that going throughout the season, it's interesting to see them and interesting to see where they're gonna be.
For FOTC,
Yeah.
looking like Superman first week, scoring 45 points. What is their kryptonite?
Hard to tell at this moment what the kryptonite is after one week.
Is it actual kryptonite?
Wow.
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 Wow. Great stuff. Growing pains.
Growing pains.
Okay, so next question.
Next question. All right, cool. Instead of the next question, let's talk about the next game. 'Cause
Next game.
Our executive producer, Slow Khan, is telling us we got to speed things up a little bit. Redmen taking on No Name. I was there for this game. I saw them win this one 16-13. John Papadimitriou of Park X Streets fame looked decent in his first game of quarterback. Not great stats. He threw a couple of touchdowns, but got into the end zone when it counted.
I kind of see these two teams as being two middle-of-the-pack teams. Now, I don't want to judge too much based off one game, obviously, but I don't think a team can win being called No Name. I can't do it. I get it. It's clever. Sean Collins is going to probably rip me for making fun of his team, but I can't get into the name. I can't get into
That's
the name.
fair.
Gentlemen, we have a comment from the Eagle. Eagle?
Yeah, I was watching that game, actually. It was actually a really exciting game. It came down to basically the last drive where Redmond scored, and then at that point, No Name took the ball and got stopped on an interception that was going for a touchdown otherwise. So really close game, came down to a wire. And Sean Collins with the very rare 40 bomb to get a nice 6 points
Yeah,
on the board.
Sean, and it was a nice catch too. Sean had to adjust; it was over his shoulder. Nice grab by Sean. Good to see him developing. But No Name defense was what I want to talk about. They looked strong, very organized. Just a smart defense
Right,
overall.
Yeah.
Do you think this will be enough, or will they need more offensive output going forward to keep them in games?
I think so, and I think it's mainly because, and we've talked about this in previous seasons about how like you're going to need about 5 touchdowns a game, 4 to 5 touchdowns a game in order to be dominant, in order to dominate your opposition. I think that just in general, like we do want to see more production out of a team, and I think that's what we might need. Is there any more prognosis from the producer, or is that all he has for us?
Eagle's shaking his head
Nothing else?
and calling his
Right.
way.
Well, no,
for the
honestly,
nest.
I was there watching it with Eagle. It was an exciting game overall. One of the things that was most interesting to me was at one point the no-name snapper, who will remain nameless because I don't know the guy's name.
No name.
But I will know it at some point, and we'll get some reference
Gonna get some
material.
snap liver.
Absolutely. No, he's going to get some hate because he walked off. Just decided to leave the game right towards the end. No Name had to shift the team around a little bit in
Maybe
his
it was an
absence.
injury. You know that?
I don't know what happened. All I know is Stitch better have my money. In that case, dude. But like, even if you're injured, you should be on the sidelines with your team. Don't take off.
You just left the stadium.
No, but honestly, like, yeah, like even Captain Sean Collins didn't know where he was. Didn't know why he left the game. It was not clear.
Maybe he had to take a leak.
Eagle said, "Does he?" No, Mo asked if he has a Twitter handle. If he does, he can tweet us at Eagle FPF, and Eagle will get us the info. If not, you can tweet me to show me some hate at Pease FPF. Mo, what's up?
I was going to say, if you recall last year, we were trying to figure out who the mystery Twitter guy was for one of the teams in winter season. Maybe he's a mystery guy.
Could be the mystery guy. Could be our mystery stalker. We do have some stalkers, so I wouldn't be surprised if we acquired another.
Mocon has to be the only guy I know that wears a championship T-shirt just out in
He wants
public.
he wants people to know he was a
Like,
champion.
do you do that? Do you just generally wear a championship T-shirt just so everyone knows you won a championship? Does he ever win
FYI,
championship?
FYI, two-time Div 1 champion.
Okay.
Two time.
Two time.
Mic drop.
So you should wear 2 T-shirts at the same
I
time.
promise you, he was the most relevant player on that Montreal's finest roster. So happy the Tigers win it 36-25 against Big Blue Wrecking Crew. I'm happy that the Tigers have changed the spelling of their name and no longer wreck my spell check by putting a Z at the end of their name. However, on the other side of the ball, we see Sergio Sicoli starting a quarterback, a former teammate of ours, now starting for Big Blue Wrecking Crew, taking matters into his own hands. Tigers were an underrated team from last season.
Yeah, we didn't expect them. We really didn't expect them to get really far into the playoffs.
And they went to the playoffs and won a playoff game. However,
Yeah.
lost to end up acquiring a loss to the then part of my swag because they had an illegal roster at the time.
And that and to this day, that still puzzles me that happened. And I guess look, they're gonna have to learn from their mistakes because it's such a shame because they had a clear shot at making the championship final. But I know Mo wants to come in here for a second. I got a lot of love for Sergio, but I don't know if I could trust my quarterback at this point. And the thing is, we've seen him play. I think he could be effective. I guess if there ever was division to test out your moxie at a
That's what we
quarterback,
do, right?
it would have to be there.
Yeah,
Be in
absolutely.
Division D.
By the way, the Tigers have new uniforms. It is a nice sea blue color that they have going on from this year.
I wouldn't have picked blue for a team called Tigers, but I like it. Go with it. It's
As
bold.
does Big Blue Wrecking Crew. They have a nice mix of a black with blue trim.
I
That was
designed that one.
designed by at Dave's Republic.
That's right. So
If you're looking for jersey designs, hit up D's at Dave's Republic.
I gotta say, I love the setup. I like the fact that we're getting input from our producers.
Yeah, right?
It really makes it seem professional for once.
There was somebody in the FPF media team who thought that'd be a great idea.
Who?
He'll remain nameless at this table. You talk about Sergio. He had a very mixed game. Throwing 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
What's your over under throughout this for?
I think he'll have very Peas-like numbers.
Right, yeah.
I think it is a learning curve, especially for a guy who's not a natural athlete, a guy whose stature
What are you
is.
trying to say? What are you trying to say here?
Is Sergio and I like our burgers. We like our beers.
We do.
We often like them together.
We do all at the same time.
And as such, we don't have particularly athletic builds. That being said, Sergio is deceptively athletic.
Yeah, he is.
So I will give him that, and he's a very smart player. So I'd like to see how he
But
develops.
it really is a trial by fire. If there was a team you don't want to play against your first game as a quarterback, first game of the season is going to be Tigers. You
He
just don't
messaged me.
want
He said, I can't believe I basically my first game played against 7 really athletic dudes.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
they're very athletic, very
Absolutely.
athletic.
And we saw Regav Mohan put on lots of pressure, put 3 sacks and, like we said, 4 picks.
He
So
still managed to throw 4 touchdowns, so that's
true.
kind of impressive nonetheless.
is Regav Mohan the centerpiece of this defense? So getting those 3 sacks
Oh,
and forcing those
absolutely.
interceptions.
But that's the centerpiece of most defenses in the lower division. Like if you have a really effective rusher, especially playing against inexperienced quarterbacks, it's incredible where your defense can go with that.
Yeah.
It puts a lot of pressure because the thing is they have very athletic guys, so they want you to be nervous throwing the ball up in the air because they know they're going to get up there. Because the thing about Big Blue Wrecking Crew, I don't want to hate on them too much, but they're kind of lacking the athleticism, the overall athleticism, to kind of make the next step.
Well, with the exception of a couple guys like Reno Nappy, very good
But
receiver.
he's a good receiver, but he's not the kind of guy that's going to
Not explosive
jump
necessarily.
somebody. He doesn't have
That's fair. This is the part of the show where we would be listening to the sweet sounds of Phil Collins, but because we're not going to break, I want to hear your best Phil Collins impression. You could just do the drums. You could just do it.
But wait, because I think I can't remember any of his
From
songs.
In the air tonight, you can't do the drums?
I can feel it in the air tonight.
Close enough. All right, that was the musical stylings of D's Del Rees. Let's do a breakdown of Conference A. Let's look at each of the teams. I'll give you sort of a little bit of background as to who they are. You tell me what you think about them and what you think of that team. So we have the Redmen. Redmond are featuring.
Let's keep in mind that it's only 1 week.
Well,
There's
yeah,
very little
of course.
prognosis we can make on these teams.
Nothing we are saying now will be held to at the end of the season because no one will remember.
The five viewers that we have right now will not remember.
They won't remember.
Nah.
The ones who do remember, we will dismiss as being crazy for remembering after
Right.
14 weeks. And let's face it, it's based on very little information, as are most of our podcasts.
Look, it's not our fault. We're going up against the Golden State Warriors right now. It's not our fault that our ratings are low.
yeah, I'm barely even listening to you. I'm watching the game in the background.
no, it's right.
We have
Division
Eagle
A.
tripping in.
We actually have 9 viewers right
9
now.
viewers, so
9
it's more than
viewers.
the 5 you thought. It's double what you thought.
It's all the ads I've been putting out there.
Absolutely, which excellent by the way.
Thanks.
The Redmen looking pretty good in their first week. Not quite excellent just yet, but John Papadimitriou at quarterback. They also have Zach Zorn, who's a reputable, especially on the defensive side of the ball, reputable player in FPF, as well as Angelo Murata making his presence felt in week 1. But other than that, it's a team of guys who are generally rookies. What do you think about this team?
Do
You
they
said
wear red jerseys, Mokan?
they do
We
have
wear
red jerseys.
That's correct.
All right. They're my favorites.
Not as nice as they could be, of course. Not designed at
Dave's Republic.
at Dave's Republic, and not produced by Sportira. Of course, Redmond, if you want to step up your jersey game, you can do so at Sportira. And remember, we're live at Sportira Cage.
That's excellent. Excellent job.
Right? It's almost like Mo and I know what we're doing.
Do we have 10 viewers yet?
Do we have 10 viewers yet? Or is
They should be
still
by
at
now.
9? We have 10 viewers yet?
It's almost like you're making a Michael Bay movie.
Are we
Exactly.
At 10 viewers yet?
Are we at 10 viewers yet?
Stay tuned after
No.
the break for that.
No,
number.
9 viewers.
So,
Yes.
that being said,
Where do I see them?
you said they would be a middle of the pack team.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because I don't know anything about them. Not yet, at least. No, but I guess we'll find out. But I mean, it has more to do with the inexperience of the team in general. I kind of see like there's a lot of teams in Division E at this point with experience, with previous FPF experience, and I think I kind of foresee that. Like that's why right now I'm going to put them towards the middle of the pack because I want to know more about them and I want to see what
Fair.
they can produce.
Birds of a feather flock together, and a bird that is not an eagle, and therefore he was not invited to play on the team as the Falcons, otherwise known as KGP Light. They come into the season without Phil Cutler, who's obviously a big piece, but they wouldn't fit the cap,
no way.
obviously, in
No
Division
way.
E.
It would
But
bust the cap right
what
away.
do you think of this team without Phil Cutler?
They at the moment going in without any concrete knowledge of performance on any of these teams, I feel like they could be the favorite. They could, mainly because of the type of team that they have, physical, big guys, have a lot of experience. They don't have Cutler, but I think they've played with him long enough to grab a couple of things from him, knowledge-wise. And we're going to cut to Eagles right behind me very awkwardly.
Yeah, we have a live tweet in from Andel Thomas Gordon, at Andel TG 12X11 if it matters. At Ego FPF, I'm one of the 9 viewers. I just want to find out why Mokan is still following Aaron Hernandez.
That's an excellent
I
question.
didn't hear that because he goes far from
No,
me.
because Mokan, we discovered this week, very, very strange. He has been following Aaron Hernandez. Aaron Hernandez showed up in court today with a new brand new tattoo. Are you a tattoo artist, Mokan?
I am not a tattoo artist, but your Twitter handles, my friend, for those who want to tweet at you guys.
Of course, and if you... Well, what is your Twitter handle again? Remind the good people.
At Mocon19.
At Aaron Hernandez.
At Mohan19. Otherwise, his alternate handle, of course, is at Aaron Hernandez Lover. You can follow me at PeasFPF, and they can follow you home or at Dave's Republic. And, of
that's
course,
right.
if you want to tweet the show live, just like our loyal listener did as well, you can tweet us at EagleFPF. TDs and beer. What can you say? They have perhaps the best player
I can
in the
see
division.
that's my second favorite team name in Division E.
I agree. They also have perhaps the best player in the division, Isaiah Allard.
Why do you say that, though?
Because he can rush. He's an amazing defensive player. We saw him play in Division C and do exceptionally well. A very good receiver. Can stretch the
Can we
field
get his rating up? Rating.
high,
Producer.
what I would imagine.
Producer, I want
Actually,
numbers.
he's our tech guy. He's our new producer. He's going to get the numbers.
7 minutes left. That's not a rating. I need ratings.
yeah. But yeah, so what would you say about this team with Brad Evans at quarterback and Isaiah Allard?
I think that this is mainly going to give Brad Evans a chance to kind of redeem himself from previous season. I can see them being a very good team, and once again, going back to what I was saying, having an experienced quarterback definitely puts you ahead of the pack. So, yeah, I'm gonna say top 5 team in Division E.
Isaiah Allard, 77.2 on offense, 75.8 on defense.
Yeah,
what I
he's
thought. That's what I
a
thought.
solid Div C player.
I
basically.
thought it was gonna be 75.9.
Obviously,
But,
obviously.
you know. was right.
Tigers, we talked about it a little bit. So just quickly, they
Yeah.
were 4-6 last season. They were underrated. In my opinion, they look even better. What are your
They
thoughts?
look even better. I'm gonna say top 3 team.
Fair. Fuzzy Kittens, I don't know a lot
I
about
don't know
them. They
much
did
about
win.
them. But
first
we'll
week.
make it a point to watch them.
We
and get
will.
More. Yeah.
We will. Honestly, Fuzzy Kittens, overall a new team. Congratulations on your first one.
Mokan, color jersey.
I've yet to see the Fuzzy Kittens play, but I'll give you a jersey recap next Thursday.
Right. Thanks.
Awesome. We'll all take a closer look at them, and we'll break them down a little bit next week as well. Looney Goons have a lot of new players and look slow offensively, but their defense look good, only giving up 15 points. Is defense enough to win games in FPF?
Not necessarily. Not an FPF. Unfortunately, and being a defensive player, I would love to say that it's a defensive game, but it's really not. You got to score touchdowns.
Fair. Sean Collins got on the recruiting path. He picked up Robert White, Evan Eli Nolet, and Jesse Racine gives quarterbacking a chance. Do you think Sean Collins has built a winner with this group?
I'm confused about this. Who is the quarterback?
Jesse Racine.
And it was Sean Collins who caught a 40-yard bomb. Is that what we
Yes.
said before?
Over his shoulder. Nice catch.
Yeah, he's a very, very decent receiver. I think in general, and maybe I'm just hating on the logo and the name, but no, I think they'll be decent. They'll be decent. We'll have to
Sounds
see.
good. Smoke and Axel. It's now with Jason Rossi at quarterback. They also had Scott Binns and Chris Olsen on the team as well, so they have a wealth of experience.
They do.
I think this is a very good roster for this team. Any thoughts? Eagle, let's get your thoughts on this one.
We have a tweet in from Sergio Sicoli at Ser Sicoli. At Ego FPF, Reno Nappy will be contender for receiver of the year, and as for myself, I can only guarantee finishing with better numbers than Pease did.
So I'm actually going to.
I like that. I like that, Sergio. I like the
think we
challenge.
should make
Remember
that
that
bet.
I would have had better numbers if you would have caught more passes. That's another thing I want to touch on. We just mentioned Smoke and Axles with those players.
Jason
What do you
Rossi,
think? Jason
Scott
Rossi.
Binns, Jag Olsen. Having played against this team in multiple times with my own team and with your teams, I'm going to say I think that Jason Rossi can be a fantastic quarterback. Not only, and he's not necessarily the best passer, but he's very, very effective running around. And I think that, and also I find Scott Binns is such an underrated player.
Absolutely.
Underrated player.
He ran me over one season.
Right.
If you look at the two of us, you would never think that Scott Binns would be able to run me over.
No, but he's
he
a
ran right through
very
me.
savvy team. So I'd be interesting to see what they can do this season. But I have a lot of faith in them.
The Fat and the Furious, perhaps my favorite name.
The best team.
They scored a lot of points in the first week. This is uncommon for new teams. Are they a potential sleeper?
It could be like the Tigers last season where we kind of underrated them, and we learned our lesson. We got to pay more attention to teams like that. So we'll this is one of the teams that we're going to have to pay a lot of attention to.
One-man show. Will they be inconsistent as they were as wax on, wax off, or was it just the booze this week?
I'm going to say it's both. Definitely got to work on the consistency aspect of it. I think coming off of a bad loss in the finals last year, you really got to shake the dust off, and I think that this is their opportunity. But
Most people would say you gotta
different,
shake the
though?
rust off.
Why did they do? Why did they change the name?
Well, because sometimes it just helps. Sometimes you want to order cool new jerseys from
Yeah, right.
Sportira, of course.
Designed by Dave's Republic.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can get them designed at Dave's Republic by my co-host Deez Delaries. So, final thoughts before we cut out. Remember, of course, if you're watching the whole gambit of shows, up next is perhaps the poorest named podcast of all time. You'll Never Walk Alone with Mokan and Terry Tam. That is the Division C podcast.
Are we no longer doing Science Hour with Duke?
We're no longer doing Science Hour with Duke for now, but we will have a montage of sorts coming soon. So, final thoughts?
Final thought. Number one, show up to your games early. Don't show up last second. Secondly, there's photo day next week. Show up even earlier, specifically to do the photos.
So that was my Thursday lesson plan.
Was it really?
Thank you for reading the script. So Thursday lesson plan, of course, look your finest. Remember, we get 2 million clicks on our website. Those are all people that could be seeing your picture, and most of them are men. So remember, everyone, we'll be with you next Thursday. If you want to follow us, you can follow Deez at Dave's Republic. You can follow Eagle at Eagle FPF. Our producer, Mokan at Mokan19. And remember to visit the Sportira site to get your jerseys. We are live in the Sportira cage, and we will be next Thursday. Till then, I am Pease. Follow me at Pease FPF.
At Aaron Anna's Lover.